Good. If you had to speculate, and of course it is pure speculation, what do you think the extraterrestrial intelligence is doing here? Why are they coming here? What are they doing?
I have a paper with 26 reasons for aliens to come to planet Earth. You know, it's the honeymoon capital of this corner of the galaxy. They're broadcast of the weekly show idiocy in the boondocks. They're being punished, spend a week near Earth as punishment to last a lifetime. They're mining engineers. This is the densest planet in the solar system, more heavy metals here than any place else. You know, go west, young man, for gold. Well, there are other things that we have. There's a whole bunch of these reasons. Hunting and fishing, no license required. Why not? We're somebody's colony, we're somebody's crop, which is an idea some people are pushing these days. But when you boil through it all, and I only mention those to give you an idea, a lot of different reasons for people to travel. If you take the plane I was on today, the 757 with 200 and some people coming to San Francisco from Cincinnati, they weren't all here for the same reason. I came here to speak at a UFO conference. I'm sure there weren't others who were doing that. But the ultimate belief on my part is based on one simple assumption about every advanced civilization being concerned with its own survival. That means you've got to keep tabs on the primitives in the neighborhood, but only close tabs on those primitives who show signs of being able to bother you. At the end of World War II, there were 3 signs that these idiot Earthlings, this primitive society, major activity, tribal warfare, would soon be bothering them, soon meaning less than 100 years, which is nothing on a cosmic timescale. Nuclear weapons, V-2 rockets, which go up out of the atmosphere, and powerful radar, which signals go out. I don't think it's any coincidence at all that the only place in the world in July 1947 where you could study all 3 of those was southeastern New Mexico. First atom bomb was tested, Trinity Site, White Sands Missile Range. That's where we were firing to capture German V-2s. That's where we had our best radar to track them because they often didn't go where they were supposed to go. You can say it's a coincidence. I don't believe it. I had an Englishman say, oh, they could have gone to the Soviet Union. Russians didn't test their first A-bomb until 1949. Sorry. I think, in other words, that their primary reason for being here is to make sure we don't go out there until we get our act together. If you were an alien, would you want Earthlings out there? I mean, World War II, we killed 50 million of our own kind. We destroyed 1,700 cities. Have we improved? Well, today, 30,000 children died needlessly of preventable disease and starvation. The same number tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. We're spending $1 trillion a year on things military here on this planet. So I presume that aliens would study biology, they would study aging, they would live a long time, they would develop wisdom. They would learn how to live at peace with their neighbors. I think from their viewpoint, to let us meander around with our crazy ideas is not something that the Galactic Federation, whatever you want to call it, would consider feasible. So I think their primary reason for being here is to make sure we don't go out there. And I don't blame them one little bit.
I hate to ask you, I got to ask you a couple of standards and then we'll be done. In a nutshell, if you can, briefly describe what happened in Roswell and why.
The so-called Roswell incident, I'm the original civilian investigator starting way back in the 70s. I can't believe I've been working on this that long. But I believe two flying saucers had a mid-air collision. One kind of exploded and fell on the Brazel Ranch, 85 miles northwest of Roswell. The other one made it down sort of to the plains of San Augustine. It's in my book, Crash at Corona. A witness says there was a gash in the side that looked like 2 parentheses face to face, which sounds like 2 saucers hitting each other like this. Why? Maybe they ran into the radar beam we know was on because they had to check high-altitude weather with balloons over at White Sands. There was a launch scheduled V2 for July 3rd. And they had, according to the newspapers, make tests 72, 48, 24, and 4 hours beforehand. So the beam was just on. It's not a search beam that goes around like this, but a tracking beam. Because they didn't have transistors, so you vacuum tubes, you leave it on. That's why not? You're in the middle of nowhere. Who are you going to hurt? I think that the bodies were recovered in both places. These are very remote locations. If you haven't been to New Mexico, I mean, I took a group of Japanese journalists out to one of the sites. For 54 miles, broad daylight, we didn't see one other vehicle. You couldn't do that in Japan. There's no way. There's too many people there. But New Mexico's different. The government grabbed them. were very concerned legitimately. Here were sightings near some of the most classified work in the world. I mean, after all, the group of Roswell was the only atomic bombing group in the world.